show was a big day for you. You became #1. Was that personally to you?
Well, Microsoft was the original microcomputer software company, and so we were the largest in the industry up until 2 or 3 years ago when Lotus took that position. Actually, being #1 isn't that big a deal. I mean, it's great that our sales have grown, and we're about to enter into some fun competition with Lotus in the spreadsheet area. So a lot of people around here enjoyed it, but it's not a major goal for us.
Do you see the competition between you and Lotus really heating up, or do you think that now you're going to now that you're #1, you're just going to stretch and grow that margin?
Well, they've done some important work in the spreadsheet area. On the PC, their spreadsheet 1, 2, 3 is very popular. And our work, which has been on the Macintosh with Excel, is very popular in that environment. And so there will be a lot of competition as we bring our concept of Excel, which has graphic user interface, over onto the PC, and so users have a choice between those two.
Okay. I mean, are the two companies, you and Lotus, really going to get into a real market share dogfight, like in classic business sense? Or do you think that one will emerge as the software company?
Well, in the near term, we're entering into the spreadsheet market on the PC, and so there'll be a lot of competition between the product we'll bring out, which will be called Excel, and their product 1, 2, 3. In the longer term, each company will be trying to provide a complete solution for office automation, going into a large corporation and explaining how our software can help your company be more productive and how you can build some of your special software on top of it. And both of us will be building up a large support structure to do that. I think in the long run, it'll continue to be very competitive.
Are you being modest about it? Do you think, I mean, competitive is one thing, but do you expect to persevere?
Well, Microsoft will definitely persevere.
Okay. I did quite a bit of calling to analysts and people that know you, say they know you or whatever, and they say that you've been very heavily dependent upon your relationship with IBM. I mean, the operating system is very pivotal to you. How heavily do you feel that you rely on your relationship with IBM?
Well, everyone relies on their best customer quite a bit. IBM worked with us in the creation of MS-DOS, and that became a very important product for us, and now we've worked together on this OS/2 that's the latest generation operating system. It is critical to us to continue to be innovative in a way that our customers find important, and IBM's at the top of that list. So, you know, I think we do fine without them, but it would certainly be a big loss.
To make it real simple, you're saying all your eggs are not in one basket.
No, we were in this business a long time before IBM got involved. In fact, we helped them make the crucial design decisions that helped them make the original PC. And so all our eggs aren't in one basket.
Okay. Also, MS-DOS is highly profitable for you. I mean, analysts say, that cliche, like 50% of your profits come from that. Does that worry you, as the operating systems change?
Well, Microsoft is a company that has no long-term debt, and we have a lot of cash. So in terms of our survivability, you're not going to find a company in a stronger position than this one's in. MS-DOS is our single most profitable product. It'll be replaced by OS/2, the next generation, over the next 2 or 3 years. You know, we're not strictly thinking every day solely about the profitability. We have a vision of where the industry can go and how our software can get it there, and we work closely with hardware manufacturers to make that happen. So, you know, when you ask, do I worry about something? Yeah, I worry about OS/2 being a well-received product, but it's...
Okay, we'll come back to your vision. I'll ask you specifically about that in a while.
All right.
But you also create a lot of products for IBM clones. the operating system, MS-DOS, and the competitors have that too. With OS2, is it fair to assume that you'll be creating products for the lookalikes, the IBM lookalikes?
Oh, absolutely. OS2 is non-exclusively licensed to IBM, and so we are licensing it to the other manufacturers.
But did not IBM pay for a lot of the research for it, of OS2?
We have a non-exclusive license with IBM. We don't go into the details of the license, but there's no restrictions on us in terms of licensing to our other customers. And in fact, we expect everyone who's licensed to MS-DOS will come along and take a license for this next generation.
So I mean, what we're getting at is that, one person's paying you to get there, and then you're selling it to their competitors. Is that not a problem for you? I mean, is that not a fair question, really?
Well, we don't take upfront money, development money from our customers. We don't need that. We do work jointly with IBM because they have a lot of special requirements for how personal computers connect into larger computers, that makes our product very appropriate. But it doesn't restrict us from offering it to other people.
Okay. Will Windows and OS2 be to this generation of computers what MS-DOS was for you? And will it be as profitable, the new generation?
Well, as it becomes accepted, which we think eventually it'll be used on all the computers in the office, it'll certainly be as profitable as MS-DOS has been.
So you're very optimistic.
Oh yeah, it's a great product. We've been working on it for about 3 years, and it's the largest project we've ever done. Because it's a large piece of software, people find lots that they like about it, and some people find things they don't like about it. But I think everybody in the industry agrees that it is the next standard, and they're going to build their software on top of it.
Okay. Let's talk about your vision. Let's go back to that before we forget. I mean, frequently you're mentioned almost as a spokesman for the PC industry. I mean, what do you see when you look at your crystal ball for the two machines behind you or the little one here? What's going to happen?
Well, Microsoft was actually started about 12 years ago, and that was when I and my co-founder Paul Allen saw that the chip industry would be doing incredible things, that their ability to put more and more logic into a small area and sell it at a very low price would lead to very, very powerful personal computers. And so that trend is what created the industry, and what's continuing to push it forward. What eventually will happen is that everyone will have a personal computer on their desk, and you'll be able to get at company data, electronic mail, news information, budgets, forecasts. You'll be able to annotate people's memos and send them back. You'll be able to see the status of projects. We really believe that a personal computer will be valuable for everyone. We also believe that eventually it'll be worthwhile to have one in the home, but that's going to take a lot longer to make come true.
Do you think, I mean, what I hear, and I don't want to speak for you, is that the personal computer is going to simplify communication between people?
Absolutely. Having information in electronic form where you can call it up when you want and see it in different ways is a major improvement over other forms of communication.
Okay. I want to talk to you later about CD-ROM when you have your meeting later, but basically, in the big picture, what do you see that? What does that pretend, the use of a compact disk with a computer?
Well, a compact disk is a technology that lets you store a lot of information at very low cost. And in the past, we've been storing numbers in the computer, but we haven't been storing pictures and sounds because they just take up a lot of storage. So what we see now is that with compact disk, applications that involve pictures and audio, as well as very large text databases, can be put together for personal computers. And so we're building the software to make that easy to do. So
the library of yesterday with the hundreds of books, the dictionaries, the encyclopedias, might be a stack of disks. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, the information will be a lot richer and easier to get to when it's in that stack of disks than it has been sitting on the paper on those shelves.
Okay. You mentioned there's two types of machines, Apple and IBM. Some of the companies that have made software have only been successful with one format. You know, people say Apple are for idiots and IBM are, if you really understand computers, you use those. How do you describe your success with both types of machine?
Well, we've been very serious about both machines. The Apple machines, the Macintosh, are much more visual. They have this graphic user interface that we're only starting now to have available on the IBM machines. The IBM machines have become the dominant standard in the office, and so there's actually an incredible amount of software that's been developed not only by companies like mine, but by customers inside their own companies who have special applications. And in order to be successful in both, we've had to have teams that were really focused on either environment and focused on their specific product and got excited about pushing the state of the art.
Okay. When you speak about computers, and one analyst I know that you know from Goldman Sachs said to me, there's only two people in this industry I listen to, Mitch Caper and Bill Gates. And they said that he's very, very intelligent. He knows so much about computers, but he also says that you're a very shrewd businessman. Do you kind of view yourself that way? Not just someone who's understood the technology and the need for it, but someone that's been able to manage a business?
Well, early in the history of Microsoft, I decided that it was an exciting challenge not just to develop things myself, but also to hire smart people and create an atmosphere and figure out how to explain those products, and that the creation of the business was going to be probably my largest achievement, even though I contribute to individual products and set the overall technical tone. So I have devoted a lot of my time to making this a good company to work at and a very profitable business. That's an important thing for me.
Well, I was saying that your attention to detail with computers is the same attention to detail with marketing, with salespeople, with lawyers. I mean, that you really do.
Well, I can get into depth on those things. I try not to too much. As much as I can, if I have time for details, I like to look at specifications of products. But if we're in a marketing battle or we're in a lawsuit, then it's fun to dive in, read all the stuff, and have a general understanding of that stuff for the future.
When you go to IBM, I mean, you're 31, you're not, Ivy League graduate, you're not Eastern establishment by any stretch of the imagination. It must be kind of a culture shock. What do you think they see when they see you?
Well, I think they enjoy seeing somebody who loves personal computers and is excited about what they can do, because they have some of the same feelings, and yet, they in their atmosphere they may not get to express it. So there's a lot of people there who I'm sure enjoy seeing what we're doing out here and working together with us. 31 for this industry isn't very young. When I was first involved in the industry and I was 20 and 21, I couldn't rent cars and things like that. That was really a shock for these large corporations that I was selling to. But now, I'm not that much below the average age of people involved with computers.
Okay. Also, the computer business has seen quite a few flash in the pans. Young people, as you mentioned, really lead up to burnout. They do really well in the beginning. They can't manage their business. They can't manage themselves, or whatever. Do you ever worry about that with yourself?
No, I really don't. It's key to take a long-term view to what you're doing and not let people's expectations get too high, and you always have to renew your vision and renew your humility at various stages in the process. But what we're aiming for, doing great software for PCs, is something that is going to keep us busy and keep us excited for a long time. I am always sorry when I see people come into the industry and then leave. I'm involved in this business. I have been for a long time, and I will be for a long time.
How do you keep your humility? I mean, you mentioned being humble.
Well, sometimes I don't, but there's a lot of great products out there, and if you play with other people's products, you can see they've had good ideas that you haven't had, and people are always trying to do better than we are, and sometimes they really show us where we've made mistakes and we need to be better. Plus, which Microsoft itself is an atmosphere with a lot of smart people who in their areas are smarter than I am, and by having that challenging environment when I come to work every day, it's not like my thoughts are right even a high percentage of the time.
So you're no authoritarian here at all?
Well, sometimes when there's indecision, it helps to have somebody say, okay, we're going to do it this way. And I do try to simplify things by providing that decision where it's appropriate. But you wouldn't. This is not an authoritarian company.
One of the things that you mentioned is that you have to sometimes make the decisions, but people around here stimulate you and you stimulate them. And I mean, no matter how many hours you work, that can be very fulfilling. But there's a kind of a negative way of expressing that, where someone's called a workaholic. I mean, do you view yourself as either a workaholic, or how do you handle that term or that label?
Well, that sort of implies somebody who isn't making the right trade-off in their life. They don't see all the other great things they could do outside work. I do take some vacations, but my work is very unique. I get to travel around, meet people, talk to users groups. I get to sit and write memos, play with products, sit in meetings. So the variety there, I believe the richness of life and the learning and stimulation that I'd like. So the long hours I work, no, they're not for everybody. I don't try and impose them on everybody, but I think it's great.
So you don't, if someone calls you a workaholic, you don't think it's pejorative?
I think it's either it's misapplied or it's not pejorative.
Okay. Since you work hard, and every article about you always mentions you drive your car too fast, and you kind of live a very fast life, lots of hours, stay up late, used to stay up all-nighters and that kind of thing. It's almost like a high-tech, like Fonzie character. Is that kind of a way that someone could describe you? Live fast, live hard. Is that okay?
Well, our business is a very fast-moving business, and the number of things we're doing, it's very important to get new products out. It's very important to keep track of what other people are up to. And so, time ends up being scheduled, and there's a lot going on. All of us have to move very fast. And I like my schedule to be filled up with things. I like coming in and seeing, I've got a full day of things to do, and I like, taking planes that fly all night because then I don't waste a lot of time. There's not some conscious effort to create an image there. There's just a lot of stuff that has to get done.
How about the whole idea that, being younger and being so successful that, others, when they compare you to, say, the head of Exxon, you do look like sort of a much more normal person in streams of every day. I have more chance bumping into you on the street than I would the head of Exxon, and how you present yourself.
I'm not sure what you're getting at.
What I'm getting at is that being younger and being out in the public and not having kind of the whole image around you, do you feel that you present yourself any differently to the general public? Like when they read Time, when they read Business Week, do you think you come across differently than, say, another chairman or another?
Well, certainly I'm different than other people who run large companies. I'm very focused on a particular industry, and I'm very involved in the products and the excitement. The atmosphere of this company is one of its key assets, and it's part of my job to create it. And the fact that I enjoy it so much is a piece of it. Certainly people can relate to my experience a little more directly because we created this environment. I didn't just learn how to succeed in a hierarchy that has unwritten rules. We sat down and we said we want this place to be a certain way, and we made it that way.